Okay, well I think I've pretty much finished most of the interior of this garage. Prepare yourself. It's like going into another dimension. Of course, I have a lot of other things that I could finish on this, but and I have further plans for up above and in the bathroom here, but that's pretty awesome. I chose this background music to make us feel like we entered into heaven or something like that. So, but this is remarkable. I mean, I slept on the couch a few times and just kind of looked around at all the different things that I've done, and I have some just tiny little touch-ups to do, like lighting and stuff like that, but it's pretty much ready to start living in. The bathroom, I still have some touches. I still have one missing part. Gotta have the off-grid toilet in there. And I'll hang this up. And it doesn't say what you think it says. It's got a typo in it. That's an F, not a H. Home is where the fart is. That was made by my wonderful family for Christmas last year. My sister did the background on it, colors. My niece did the calligraphy, cursive, beautiful handwriting. And my brother-in-law came up with the little phrase there with the typo. So if you think about it, that's pretty profound. Wherever you go and you feel like you could just let one go, you know you're home. That's gonna go right on the door to the bathroom. I could go through exactly what it costs in here, and I'll just have to do it off the top of my head, because I know people get curious about that. But all the major stuff, I'm not going to count all the glue and screws and replacement blades and staples and all like that stuff, and those things add up, and the gas to go drive to get stuff. But I'll just kind of go off real quick of what it would cost. All of the wood that you see on the walls, a total of $20. Just this wood here, somebody's trying to get rid of all there for $20, and then the rest of it I got from a fence that somebody was giving away, and then like an old barn that somebody was, I helped them take it down, and then the doors on each side were free. Somebody's always giving away a door. The stove was probably the most expensive part of it, but I wanted to invest a little bit in that. That was $250. The rest of the rustic stuff that you see around are just from my grandma's house when we were cleaning it out. The rustic sink stuff was just leftover metal stuff that I picked up from another project that my brother was doing, I think. And then concrete costed a little bit. You know, just a bag of that will cost a couple bucks. And then the faucet was a couple bucks from a thrift store, and just leftover metal. And the tubing, that's probably, I don't know, like 10, 20 bucks for all the tubing for the water system. The tank I bought for probably 30 bucks or something like that, 20 to 30 bucks. The other little hot water tank is, I don't know, like well, I guess it was free, but I had to buy the crock pot for maybe like $5, and then the shower system is probably like $30 for everything, just because I bought one and the other one was free, but I had to buy some other stuff for all of it. And the flooring was, I don't know, I would say $10 or something. All the leveler, concrete leveler and stuff, I got super cheap. 6 bags for $6, and I was able to fill in everything that I was looking to fill, and then some Portland cement too, so I didn't use the whole bag on that. And then the sealant on everything was like 75 cents for like 5 gallons of it, so I just used all of it on floors and walls. And the ceiling drywall was all $6. The guy was getting rid of all this drywall. Actually, it was $3, sorry. $3, 50 cents each sheet. And then the paint on top of that was like a few bucks. So a total of $6. And there's a lot of random reused wood that I use for all this other stuff, supports and things like that, all these beams. I just repurposed a lot of that. So all the insulation in the ceiling and the walls to cover everything was like $55. Got it from a guy who's getting rid of his leftovers. And all the vapor barrier on top of the insulation was $10. I didn't even use the whole roll, but all the stuff that's in here, this was my mom's couch, so she just gave it to me. They're downsizing some stuff. The carpet, the throw rugs are down, like, that was from my grandma's house too. My dad gave me this entry rug, and then this rug I actually bought for $20 because it was a nicer one, and it looks very industrial. And the bean bag, my nephew gave it to me because he didn't want it anymore. The little cabinet there was from my grandma's house as well, so she just had that, and it looked great. Also, that stand was for my grandma. For $100 for the TV, but I traded it for the $60 propane heater. So all the, I guess, the farmhouse door and everything else that was given away to me with some of the wood there. And I'm just trying to think of what other major stuff, like repurposed bricks. I'll probably make that a little better though. Repurposed heat shield from my previous projects. The windows were free. I just had to do a lot of repairs. I had to buy some materials to cut it and get the glazing and stuff like that. $10 for repairing the windows. I haven't finished some stuff over here, but a lot of the lighting, I'd say the wiring was probably the most expensive. I mean, you could spend a lot on wiring. I repurposed a lot of it, maybe half of it, and then half of it I bought new. That would be like $50 or something with that. And then all the switches and lights and the covers, all that stuff is super cheap. I would say like $20 for all of this entire place. Is all those things I got at the Habitat for Humanity, and I just dug through and found rustic looking stuff that I liked, and so they're like 25 cents each, like 25 cents for the cover, like 25 cents for a outlet, maybe piping and stuff I bought new because I needed specific things. So that may cost, I don't know, up to 20 to 30 bucks just to get the connectors and stuff like that. I mean, I can't say it's easy. It just takes a lot of time and patience to look for those type of situations. Is over time I was able to find these things. It wasn't like I went out in a week and got them all, but it was every day looking around, knowing what I kind of want. I really wasn't looking for a denim couch. And this was way bigger than I was even thinking that I was going to get. But my mom was going to get rid of it. She was downsizing. She actually doesn't want to get rid of this couch, so she told me to keep it. But I considered it for a while, and I'm like, you know what? It's growing on me, the idea. And I'm going to have a lot of places to sleep. At least 2 people could sleep on it. So it's the equivalent of pull-out bed. You know, you could have a couple people sleep there. And it's a nice comfy couch for hanging out. And it actually goes well with the wood. I feel like it's like, you know, people still are in style when they buy denim with some like cool leather kind of looking stuff, and that kind of has that look of that denim with kind of a brown earthy look to it. So I'm like, okay, I think this might work. And I got a little square table also from my grandma's house, probably from my step grandpa. It's a card table that goes perfectly right in the center there for playing games or eating food or something like that. I love how the light comes through that the door. I mentioned it briefly before that this is a milestone for me, I think, in this whole property, in this house, and maybe I'll make a separate video about the whole reasons for all the decisions I've had to make, and for all the things I've had to learn. You know, I couldn't just live in my house and then work on major things, and I had to study the house and the foundation and like figure out, wow, I can't do this. Not yet. It's going to be a longer term thing. And so then I had to build a shed back there to briefly live in with, you know, some backup plans with it to move somewhere else if I really need to the next property. And then I was on a little adventure trip with my buddy Brenton with Backrodders and Backroads, and we have that adventure trip on our scooters. And during that time we talked about what we're going to do when we get back, and during our conversation, this was kind of the epiphany, the inspiration, that as we're out there, I'm like, I need to redo my garage into a living space. And so that grew on me, and didn't get to it actually for several months, but it was during that time I started planning on it, and it seemed like this is going to be the most doable, the cheapest way to start the renovation of my house. And it has a foundation, has all the framing, has everything ready. I just need to do the work to get it where it's at. So it takes a long time to get a vision accomplished. When the vision is strong, then the ability for delayed gratification is there. When I was in my house, I would just be like throwing stuff around because I'm like, I don't care. I'm just like in a project. I'm in survival mode, and I just don't really clean up that much. And because of all my energy is going into building and projects and all that stuff, so I actually feel like a human being now. So it's been really nice to share this journey with you. And it's not over by any means. We got a lot of other stuff to do, but this is the good foothold, or a milestone, or whatever you want to call it. And we'll keep going, but I appreciate you just being interested in watching, and I think that's good enough for me. That's the greatest motivation that keeps me posting videos. Is I get paid very little on YouTube. It's probably around maybe $180 to $200 a month, to be honest with you, with YouTube. So it's not anything to live off of, but I put every penny into something that's gonna be the most benefit, and I think I've shown that I do that. So we're gonna look further into the future, and we're gonna start looking into a lot of off-grid stuff, and I do a lot of videos on that. This may look rustic and old and stuff like that, but it's gonna have like new technology, off-grid, things that nobody's ever heard of. So if you've never watched any of those videos that I have for technology, off-grid stuff, like, guaranteed you'll see something that you've never heard of before. And there's endless things in there in my videos and other research that I'm doing, and I promise you'll be excited about it. So anyway, we'll look forward to more videos, and we'll keep on trucking, keep the faith.